cut out for him.
Brent, what do you make of this run from Disco Dave?
Yeah, I think Maria said it best. Not surprised he lets his chips do all the talking because he doesn't say a word at the table.
Just steamrolling final table after final table and going back to back, winning the 10K short deck and the 25K in consecutive days, knocking off Aliyam Shurovich and Ivan Jufic heads up. So I wish we would have told you to watch out for David Peters. We are going to be able to give ourselves at least a little bit of credit, as here are the players that we told you to watch out for. Now, hopefully you put some of these players in your Super Draft lineups. Super Draft, the official fantasy partner of PokerGO. And I think, Maria, we just have to credit Brent. Just another nice showing, huh?
Yeah, you know, you can always count on Brent, especially when we have Javier's on the line.
Yes, we do.
Good to know that, you know, Brent's going to come through for us.
Taco Bell was the agreed upon arrangement for this bet. Ridiculous. Helmuth, I can't take it any longer. I can't.
That would be 0 points. Did we have that right, Brent? 0 points for Helmuth?
Yeah, you got it right, Jeff. He's a little too busy. Helmuth's got a lot of stuff going on. You ever heard of these SPACs? 400 of them.
It'll be top shelf tequila for Maria and I over at Javier's. Maria did have Aliyam Shurovich, and Brent, Aliyam Shurovich, just in the mix time and time again.
Man, how about all these battles going on? Speaking of battles, there he is. How about Ali, Game of Poker Thrones edition? That's Theon Greyjoy. Huh? Not bad. Let's see who else we have. Well, I'll give you someone else that's next. Khaleesi Cade,
yes.
the mother of dragons. Got to get her involved in there. What a showing for Khaleesi. And I got one more for you.
Okay.
There he is.
Nice.
Negrano. That's Tyrion Lannister. A Lannister always pays his debts, and I think Negrano might have a few debts to owe if he had any of these U.S. Poker Open prop bets, Jeff.
Kind of a rough showing for Mr. Negrano.
Not great.
Couldn't win a flip, though. All right, Maria, should we send you off to that broadcast booth?
Yeah, can't wait.
Let's do it. More than 750K up top. Maria and Ali Nejad will have the call. It's final table coverage of the U.S. Poker Open main event, and it starts right now.
A year ago, we were uncertain what the landscape was going to be for the future of live poker. But thanks to a little bit of vaccine and a little bit of shift in protocol, we were able to converge upon the PokerGO studio once more for the US Poker Open 2021 edition after a year off. And after 11 events, the 12th is upon us, the granddaddy, the 50K. Ali Nejad alongside Maria Ho with the call as we are down to 6 players, including Sam Soverel. If he were to win today, he would overtake David Peters, who is up top for the overall US Poker Open Series lead, which of course would allow him to claim the Golden Eagle and an extra $50,000. There's the final table chip counts brought to you by Global Poker. Sean Winter up top, a little distance back to Bill Klein, then Little, Chidwick, Koon, and Soverel in that order with the blinds at 20 and 40,000 and a 40K ante. There is a look at your payouts, $100 and $5,000 guaranteed to all 6 of these players. The jumps are significant, and up top, of course, over $750,000. 5 professionals, and of course, Bill Klein, who you saw act first there. Victorious in surviving the first hand. The recreational of the bunch. That is a really alarmingly deep V. I gotta just lead with that, Maria. That
and a real smooth chest to go with that deep V.
I feel like I can see his belly button in that V. Koon with the Queen Jack offsuit opens to 100K. It is hot outside. Summer is definitely here in Las Vegas. Chidwick defends for the extra 60K. Flops middle pair.
5-7.
Not great texture for him. Koon with bottom pair, but backdoor hearts and Broadway.
Chidwick and Koon, of course, with a ton of history. 2 regulars on the high roller circuit.
Neither look all too comfortable with this specific spot here. The first hand of the final table. Interesting turn card as Chidwick check called the downsized 55K c-bet. Now Koon has the best hand with queens and jacks.
Yeah, you feel a little bit better as Koon, obviously now beating those Ace-X and King-X holdings, but of course, Chidwick will have 10 X's here, defending from the big blind as well.
Would Chidwick be a little bit more weighted toward a lead on the turn, given that his hand would be so face up with the 10, and we could expect a lot of Koon's range to check back?
Not necessarily. I mean, even though the range advantage is not so clear because Koon did raise from late position, he does still have a range advantage on this board.
Does this line play?
So
Irrelevant?
I think that was all just standard fare.
Just being sure, you know. Yeah. I'll let you screw it up before I screw it up. Man, I guess we can't see the shot clock today, huh?
There's a look at your chip denominations brought to you by Progressive. The nickels are still in play. Those will be eventually raced off. They get deep enough. Quarters and 100Ks out there as well.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is this Soverel pick here in the bottom left-hand corner?
Oh, you haven't seen the
No.
The Cell Block D jailhouse chic that Soverel wears? It's like a cut-off sleeve. Pretty goofy, but he pulls it off. Sam's always given me grief for my streetwear. He says I should be sponsored by FUBU. Never owned a piece of FUBU in my life, Soverel. No judgment, but not really my steed. Meanwhile, Ace-7 offsuit, very much Chidwick's D in the small blind with the action folded around to him. He gets after Bill Klein.
145.
And the 32-year-old from Deal, England. Ironically enough, I feel like he'll never make a deal at a final table. Got to favor himself, and why wouldn't he? Almost $35 million in career tournament earnings. Married to Marine. They have a beautiful little daughter.
Stop worrying about me, please.
I mean, you're a
She's
threat.
not just beautiful.
looking at me.
She's intelligent, polite,
Won't like it.
well-spoken. There's a lot of other adjectives you
Actually, I
can
do
use.
like it. It's okay.
You could have just went with European.
What?
That
okay, you can
encompasses
look at it.
most of what you just said in my mind. But yes, indeed.
And I'm pretty sure if you blog everyone, they're allowed to look.
They are. You're right. That's what you want.
During the Triton Millions event out in London, I had the opportunity
Why?
to spend some time with her, and thought it was really cool that they were all together as a family, watching Daddy work.
I wasn't feeling one the other day when I just made a big one, like 4 ways with Queen 9 offsuit. And I just fold it pre-flop and then I go broke. And it's like, saw it coming a mile away.
You were feeling that Ace-6.
Oh, that was
Jason
different.
Koon's going to
That
be a
makes sense.
daddy soon as well.
Yeah, I heard that. I
Oh,
think
yeah, that was-
Bianca
that's not
is
what I'm
pretty
talking
far
about. That was
along.
okay.
I think actually maybe in her last trimester.
You can turn the man dead.
I feel bad. They recently moved up into my community, and I've yet to hang out with them, although my sister and brother-in-law live down the street, and they've hung out.
Always.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That was heads up. You know, heads up, you can do whatever
Andrew
you want.
Roble
but
up
4
there
ways,
as well. Next thing I know, my sister's going to be playing poker for a living. The neighbors got her into it. Meanwhile, Chidwick opens with the Ace-X. Gets no customers. I hear music. That means something's happening. On this occasion, it's a glimpse at the series standings, but as we talked about, despite not even being among the top 5, Sam Soverel can win the series, but only with a first place finish here today. He's got his work cut out for him on the short stack right now, just 21 big blinds. And you factor the antes in and that M term, which I believe Dan Harrington coined once upon a time, that takes both the antes and the blinds into consideration, expresses his stack as even shorter than it might actually feel. Meanwhile, King Queen for Bill Klein. Well, Soverel might be able to get it going here with a couple of jacks on the button.
Yeah, just about 20 big blinds effective. Certainly a lot of hand for that stack.
10 seconds.
On.
In it sails. Soverel
860.
will take his chances here. And Bill Klein doesn't make a meal out of King Queen.
And I like, Ollie, that in the final event of USPO, there's still a sweat for who is going to take down the overall leaderboard plus that 50K on top. But I gotta say, David Peters going back-to-back USPOs is a pretty good story.
Soverel's resume is so impressive. In 2018, he was the high roller of the year, and then he was the purple jacket recipient last time we held the Poker Masters. So he is your reigning Poker Master. And just a fixture in everything that happens here at ARIA. Poker related and high stakes in nature, whether it's the cash game streets or the big buy-in tournaments. King Jack offsuit for Chidwick is going to be in rough shape against this Ace Jack suited that Bill Klein will undoubtedly continue with. TBD if he'll flat or raise.
Seconds.
350.
350.
Klein decides to take the more aggressive route. An Ace Jack suited, plays very well post. King Queen suited in an interesting spot. Obviously a really nice playable hand, but not to a 3-bet.
Yeah, not an open and a 3-bet, just a little bit too rich for King Queen suited.
Pocket Jack.
Too rich for the King Jack also.
Almost. So close. What a great read. What a great read.
Black serve, guys. 25-50.
I had ace-9 of spades. I was getting ready. For?
I feel like we had all the good cards.
For playing. I was getting ready for playing.
What did Bill have?
Bill Klein, far more adept than your average poker enthusiast, and while golf is his #1 love, he has played more than enough
I feel like
poker
we've been in
to
that spot a few times where I have like pretty good cards, you know, but
pick up $5 million in career tournament
and Bill
earnings.
just crushes us.
Wait, were the blinds up last hand?
This
No.
Okay.
Played just about 8 minutes at the 20 and 40 level, and now those blinds have moved up to 25-50 with the 50K ante. We'll see the sizings adjust accordingly pre-flop. I get a kick out of watching Sean Winter play, by the way, Maria. He's got so many faces. He's got the high muck. There's just antics
didn't have a big hand.
aplenty.
Yeah, I mean, it looked grueling for him to just fold that small blind into Stevie Chidwick's big blind. Ollie, the stacks are a little bit shallower overall than I think maybe some people might expect to see, but they had a very long bubble, I believe, last night. I think maybe a few hours before the money bubble burst.
Well, it's a big one, right? 50K bubble is going to have a thicker membrane on it than your average. Oh, do you think Koon heard me and threw something on? You get a memo. I love Jason. Good dude. A savage poker player. Bill Klein having some fun with Chidwick there. Steven settles on a limp with the jack deuce. Klein says run it with the 10 tray. Neither player connects on the king high rainbow flop.
I think when most good players limp in from the small blind, they should have a balanced range, so not necessarily discounting the fact that Chidwick could have a piece of this board without raising coming in pre.
And what about in the big blind? There should be some balance checking back as well.
Absolutely.
No pair anywhere as they run it all the way out. Chidwick's table presence, Maria, is among the most impressive I think I've ever seen.
That's good.
Honestly, I have been made to feel very uncomfortable when I've been at Chidwick's table, especially when I'm sitting right next to him.
Right.
He's just staring right into my soul every time we're in a hand.
And it's interesting because there's a distinct difference as we take a look at the series summary brought to you by PokerCoaching.com. David Peters with 3 wins at the top of the leaderboard. And of course, we mentioned Soverel, the only player that can overtake him with a victory.
Pass.
I was saying there's a distinct difference between those who posture in an effort to represent that they are actually gleaning something or gaining something from their affect or their stare down at the table. And then, for whatever reason, it just feels like every single decision, every single little choice, every behavior that Stephen Chidwick engages in at the table is thought out and with intent and designed to gain some sort of advantage over you, and do so effectively when you're on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, it definitely makes it really tough when you have a player like that at your table. You feel like every little thing you do is just giving something away.
Discombobulating, no doubt. I've touched on the fact as we saw Winter raise and take it from the cutoff there.
Come on. Stop believing it.
It was.
Did you have a 7?
Yeah. A good 7. Huh?
That is a big fold.
It was.
I was saying I've touched on the fact that once upon a time, when the action wasn't on you, you were never staring at the person on whom the action was sitting. And nowadays, that's not the case. People act and then look right at the person who the action is on, and it's just a strange, off-putting thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially for a lot of rec players, you will hear them say how that has made them feel like live poker just isn't their scene anymore. They don't want to be stared down every time.
Heads up.
Queen 7-5, rainbow. Koon defending against Winter's open.
$90,000.
C-bet of 90K. Earns jack high the pot as Koon's ace high was in real no man's land there. And Chidwick not the only daddy at the table, Sean Winter. Married man with a daughter himself. Also very good-natured. I like this little collection we got here, right?
Yeah.
Soverel, very animated at the table. Klein, the rec player, not afraid to kind of be relaxed and engage. Winter, got some trolley gears in him. And you got Chidwick and Koon on the more serious side of the spectrum, but certainly away from the task at hand, Jason. Plenty of fun to hang out with. Five-six suited for Winter is going to hear from this ace-king suited on the button for Soverel.
10 seconds.
300.
Re-raise, 300.
Soverel hoping to induce here, decides not to just shove that 20 big blind stack over the open.
Trying to go for those
There's
points.
room keys for people.
Well, yeah, but I had it.
Dan and Brian get the executive suite. Rylan gets the other one.
Does second do it for you?
Not even
need-
close.
Oh, you need to win.
It's interesting because for as successful and for as impressive of a
That
resume
doesn't count
Soverel
for
has.
anything, right? Just the yearly thing.
What are you
I don't know
pointing
what we're
at?
talking about.
That
This?
tournament. There's a tournament
Oh,
over there.
This is not for whatever that.
You wonder how much the title
That's just
really
a bunch of guys
means to
playing
him.
cards.
Does this guy count for anything?
I hope so.
He always seems a little indifferent. It's hard to tell.
Well, you never know whether or not that's just managing expectations and not placing too much emphasis on it so as to be even keel, right? You want to come from a zen state. Or if it truly is, they're all about the Benjamins and none of the extra stuff matters. Though if you are all about the Benjamins, there's $50K in extra cash available to you up top, which is a nice bit of frosting on top of the 765.
10 seconds.
A little
Raise, 150.
sliding in with a king 7 and facing a raise from Winter's king tray.
Winter, as the chip leader, does not want to let this pot go unraised.
Call. Heads up.
Little proceeds with the best of it. That texture doesn't favor either player. And the awkward side-by-side stare down commences. I can't do it. I'll tell you right now. I don't mind looking at someone, but once they look back, it gets weird and I have to look away.
Yeah, there was a period of time in my career when I was trying to do the stare down, and then I just remember my eyes started watering up, and I was trying not to blink, and I was like, ah, forget it.
Board pairs on the turn after both players checked. Who will blink?
Check.
Both players feeling like their king high has a bit of showdown value.
And courtesy of the third 9 on the end, they'll be breathing a lot easier about that value, given that their side cards no longer matter.
Check. Check.
Knuckled all the way down, and we'll carve it up. Both of them seem a little bit confused as to how they ended up
Ripped it
here.
in on you pre-flop.
Yeah, why didn't you?
I don't. Weak player.
I should have ripped it in.
Afraid to make it 400. You just rip it in with the king. Here, I don't want this.
You don't want the king?
It's mine now.
I'll take it.
Mine now. I keep it. That's how I'm gonna get him. Chop it up.
What a flop for you.
It's a pretty good flop.
Jonathan Little from the coaching streets, Maria, accomplished author.
As good as I can hope for so far.
Yeah.
Of
Got the king high, you know? It's pretty good.
multiple poker publications.
Blind versus blind against you. I mean, what more do I want?
And I believe you mentioned that at one point he was the prolific investor David Einhorn's poker coach. One-time WPT Player of the Year, who loves to teach. One of the Magic the Gathering set that converted into poker players. At one point, Little was ranked as high as 9th in the world, but at 18 is when he shifted his focus to play more poker. He's got over $7 million in career tournament earnings. Father to 2 boys. 36-year-old lives out in New York.
Got a bunch of dads at this final table. I think
Yeah.
Soverel might be the only person,
As far as we know.
as far as he knows.
Blind versus blind limp pot here. Winter out of position this time with a dusty 10 deuce.
And the side-by-side stare down is just going to shift 1 seat over.
Yeah. And this one even more intense.
Winter just stabbing here. That over card with the backdoor straight draw, I think, is good enough for a call.
Oh. Could serve as a potential float depending on what develops. Chidwick doesn't add any equity on the turn, whereas Winter picks up a gut shot straight draw.
Yeah, and certainly if you are going to stab at the flop and you turn more equity, I would expect that sometimes Winter would take that as a bet one more time. Range is obviously wide open, very unclear in a blind versus blind spot when it's a limped pot. But that low end of the straight comes in for Winter.
Bill, did you get any sleep last night?
Sure, slept like a baby.
Attaboy.
Crying all night. Kept going to the bathroom.
10 seconds.
Unfortunately for Sean, Chidwick not really
No golf today.
going to be
No
able to
golf
make a
today.
call as he fires 200K and will
How are you going to
Take
win a
it down.
tournament and get a hole in one?
I have no idea. This is I'm bucking the odds.
Get 9 holes enough to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Wrap it up quickly.
It doesn't get dark till late. That's
you go.
true.
One time, Bill and I played all night, and
6 a.m.
6
Yeah, we could-
a.m.
Yeah, you
he
beat me.
got up and said, "I'm getting on my plane. I'm going golfing." We
Yeah.
played all night. And he just went straight to golf.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
Yeah, you were looking a little tired, so
I was. I went and slept about 14 hours.
I had to give off.
Wanted to golf.
You were looking a little
Bill's
tired.
a legend, man.
Yeah, don't let Bill Klein's age fool you. He's got a lot of stamina, especially when it comes to the things he loves to do most. Golf, of course, being top of that list.
I've never heard just how good he is at golf. One would assume at this point he's got to be a bit of a stick.
I don't know if people are willing to bet
Right.
high enough to find out.
Right. Ace 5 suited for Little, the opener, made it 110,000. And Sean Winter asks a question with this King 5 on the button. Makes it easy for the Ace 4 to go into the muck, and that's bad news for Little should he proceed. One less ace for him to connect with. The sizing here from Winter suggests that he's absolutely comfortable getting called, though the strength of his hand, you would assume he would prefer to take it right here and now.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of people go more for the 3x sizing, but Winter pressurizing Little, it gets through just purely because of the ICM considerations at hand.
I don't get these hands.
I should have
I
just
was
ripped
talking.
it in for fun.
I think he had like King 7.
I don't
Wow.
get that.
Off.
King
Pure
4,
legend.
King 4.
I mean, it's Jonathan Little.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not 3-bet me? Play no hands, always have nothing anyway.
John's playing good today.
Sean's like, how did they know?
I should have ripped it in.
With the King 7 earlier that you had?
No, right now, this hand. Had an ace, you know. Should have just popped it in there. No? Yeah. All right.
You can make a straight.
I haven't been able to make anything today. King high one time.
It's interesting, though. Both Soverel and Little were right in the neighborhood of where Winter actually was. King 4 and King 7 were the guesses. Offsuit.
I'm going to torch both of our money if you don't chill the fuck out.
I had nothing.
You beat that. Yeah, you had nothing. I knew
Wow.
it. You're such an easy read. You're the only guy I can read at this table. I look at a deuce, figure you got me beat. That's the end of it.
Well, if there's going
I
to be
can't
one
chase.
person you could read at the table, it's good to have him
You guys
be
kicking
to
each
your
other under
left.
the table, or
Sure.
I got the ace jack.
We'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it on TV. I don't want to give away any of my favorite
Your
poker,
secrets?
poker secrets. Save them for the book.
I would buy
How
Bill
to hang
Klein's
with
book.
the big guy.
You should write a book, really. Anyone ever approach you about it?
No.
I'm surprised.
You have 1.1-ish?
One on the nose, including the big blind.
One second. Price 150.
Jack-6 offsuit for Soverel. In good shape against 6-7 offsuit, but out of position.
Yeah, decides to get aggressive from the small blind. And for Koon here, I think certainly if they were a little deeper, would peel. This one borderline does call, though.
Go. Heads up.
Ace, Queen, 6, 2 hearts. Both players managed to hit bottom pair. Advantage Soverel in the kicker department. Plus he's got that jack working toward Broadway.
Second. $100. 100.
Looks like his board gonna fire, hopefully clear out some equity, because pretty much any 2 cards Koon could have will probably be overs to that 6, but little does Soverel know that he actually has Koon dominated.
Hard to flop a pair. So Koon's not going to send his into the muck just yet. Tears one off. 550 in the middle now.
Check.
Koon with enough showdown value does check behind.
Board pairs on the end. Now, both players using the queen kicker. More helpful to Koon's holding than it was to Soverel.
10 seconds. Time extension.
Soverel probably thinking that he might not be able to get Koon to fold a Queen X type holding.
6.
Knuckled all the way down. On the turn and river. And these two will carve it up. That's the look of a man who had the whole pot. Good old boy, Jason Koon, out from West Virginia. Graduated from Wesleyan, got an MBA actually. Not sure how much of that MBA is being put to work in the poker streets, but an education can't hurt, I would imagine. Over 31 million in career tournament earnings. Jason really came on.
You know how much you have?
1.1-ish.
Super strong the last few years. Has galvanized himself as an elite world-class player.
We're all the same.
10 seconds.
Yeah, very similar stack sizes for the blinds as well as Soverel on the button, but ace 10 of clubs is a heck of a hand to have.
110.
Soverel, part of that super tight cluster from second all the way down to sixth. Winter almost 2-1 over Bill Klein. Then just 6 blinds separate the remainder of the field, which does create
10 seconds.
some interesting dynamics.
Now, King Jack in the small blind, to hear him go all in, is definitely going to be beating a lot of Soverel's
Hit how
range
much?
opening from the button.
Million.
Yep. 1,025,000.
Just so happens
Think I
that
have to pay.
Soverel has a decision.
1,025,000.
1,025,000.
Koon certainly could be doing this with a lot of pairs, small middle pairs, and does make the call.
Yeah, Soverel deciding the ace-10 suited is worth it. Gambling with Koon, who is all in and at risk, will need some help here.
Put it in the right order first. My initials. Put it in the right order.
There you go, JK.
Can I do that?
Opposite for me.
We'll see if that does him any good.
Same thing. Backwards.
To the flop we go. Queen
right.
10
Short
8.
stack, little bit of everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, short tag hand.
Pair in the nut flush draw for Soverel. Open ender for Koon.
65, 35? Maybe
Equities.
more. Maybe 70, 30. Yeah. Get a
Actually,
big fucking hand.
I haven't
I gotta-
changed that much.
3 cards I wanted to see on the flop.
Maybe 70, 30, yeah.
That's
And
actually
the
a fun
turn
card.
is an ace. So Koon gets there with Broadway,
Now,
but
cards I wanted
Soverel
to see on the flop.
can still hit a
Is this
club,
short deck?
ace, or a 10.
Sure feels like a short deck
This
hand.
was an icer.
Feels like 7 of diamonds river, but I'm not sure.
I feel like ace of diamonds.
And the river,
6 of diamonds.
6 of diamonds in the neighborhood.
Number one.
1,025,000.
And Soverel gets a big chunk taken out of his stack as he will be left with vapors, Maria. Just 3 bigs and 175K.
You'll get to stare down at that deep V for a while longer, though.
I'm into it.
A lot of made-for-TV runouts. I'm not convinced it's not all rigged.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you see on the internet and you go, okay, something's going on.
Bill, I played on an app for 3 months where
It almost
It
felt-
100%. It wasn't cheating for anyone, but you could tell the rake structure incentivized big pots, and it was just set over, set over, set over, set over, flush draw against.
I played on one of those apps before.
Just loaded app. It's the sickest thing ever.
Just like set versus full house.
You've been doing that this week.
You're just checking back the strongest hands ever on the river, like. Yeah.
Some interesting allegations of skewed RNGs, perhaps.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that throughout the pandemic. I mean, it takes a lot of money to develop very sophisticated RNG.
Raise 105.
Chidwick's turn to have ace 10 of clubs. Maybe it'll work out better for him than it did for Soverel.
So far, so good. Clear through to the button. Now to the big blind.
We know it pains you to fold, Winter, but I think this one can go in the mug.
8-3 off suit. Owes us about 10 seconds of our lives back there.
Should open shoved.
Well, you got to induce lighter because of the 50K added.
I mean, it's pretty sweet to see ace 9 off and jack 10 suited.
And queen 10 suited.
Yeah.
Klein.
King 10 suited.
Still a spectator.
4 off suit. No. Okay. Got to learn your range over here.
Ace 8 suited, maybe. Ace 4 off suit.
Yeah, you hear them talking about just how it would have been a more low variance approach to open shove a hand like ace 10 of clubs on the button, but you know, you have to try to get some of those worse hands to get in there.
But it's that stack distribution, and in particular, obviously, Soverel with the 3 bigs right now, changing things up. But it really has the cuffs on the field a little bit. Sean Winter could potentially try to leverage, but now Jason Koon is only 5 blinds shy of him. It's those middle stacks that you're really able to exploit when you have a big shorty out there. Or a little shorty, as the case may be. More ace 10. And the Winter Open to 150K gets piled on.
Yes.
They'll really torture money.
You made like $100 right there. A couple hundred.
I was not that excited.
He might have lost some.
Well, you've been staring at it for the better part of 10 days.
Oh, I just meant. Pretty
And
cool when you have that stack and a person's
it is
all in
a
and maybe getting
spectacular
called.
trophy.
Not by him. He never calls.
But at 54 pounds, I think you only get
Chidwick.
50 pounds for your first piece of luggage. How is anyone going to get this thing home?
I mean, that 50K on top will
How good
go
must
a
it be
long
to
way
have
for that
position on
extra baggage
Sean, you
fee.
can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. It's just free. Free money.
Try again.
I'm still not convinced that there's not actual real eagle.
What do you got
Bits?
now?
Yeah.
1, 3?
There
Or
are.
4?
Many eagles were harmed in the making of that trophy. No, it's not true. I bet you plenty of fingers were harmed. Well, that's sculpting, smelting.
It's a big hand.
I know, it's easy playable.
Very connected.
Pretty thick out there right now, Maria. Quiet and a little tense.
Yeah, a little bit of a different vibe than the 8-game final table.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. That was a complete exception to the rule. That 8-game final table populated by a number of old school mixed game vets.
How much is left?
It really vibed just
total.
like the cash games.
125 total.
Can't say the same about this here, although guys have been
Give me a face card, please.
fairly chatty.
Yeah, look at that.
For the most part.
You didn't look at the other one?
Why would he? He already won.
Soverel
Got a good hand.
gotta be happy with that walk.
4 or 5 offsuit, just not enough for Bill Klein to play sheriff. And it's
Any
not
face
an
card?
obligation for him to try to get after it with a holding that weak, right?
Gotten wrecked by the ace, but at least I would have felt like a man.
No, not at all. I mean,
You just won a few $100 there.
it's not like Klein has a
lost
ton of extra chips
450,000.
to put in the middle.
He's looking up at Sean Winter going, you do it. And with a couple of 4s,
Wait, 115.
he does. Making it 115K. And an ace-10 on the button for Klein, who may have otherwise wanted to play that particular pot. Maria, you have a look on your face. It's Soverel's presence in the blinds with the shorty, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised at that fold. I think you can pretty easily call, especially knowing that Winter's going to be
cover,
opening
Sean, do you know?
fairly wide as the
I
chip
have
leader.
2.2 on the nose, I think. They're like exact chip set.
Nice for Soverel to wake up with these 2 queens.
I'm not folding.
Is he allowed to say that?
A little posturing.
Yeah, milking the time extension to make it seem as though he actually has a decision here. Really, what he's doing is maybe trying to invite Jason Koon in after he moves all in, which he does here.
Yeah, with just 200K.
200 exactly.
There's some hands that Koon, of course, would choose to come along from the big blind with, but
Because we already know that Winter's open is never going anywhere, so there's really no reason for posturing other than to try to turn it into a triple up.
I think I had the winner here.
What do you think, Jason?
I think I had the winner. I think you're getting last place.
You got king 7?
How much?
How much? I'll give you 3 to 1 that you get last place. $100.
No bet, no bet. I should bet it. I got hearts.
I'll give you 4 to 1.
I got hearts.
$100.
Right? Did you have any hearts?
He played ace 4.
I'll give you 4 to 1.
I'll take 4.3 to 1 for $100.
Can't do it.
I need a heart. Oh shit.
Well, there's 1 heart,
Ace.
but
what
not
do
a
I
good
need?
board for the pocket
How
4s.
can I win?
I had
You need an ace.
You would have won.
Something that
Solid.
looks like an ace.
Yeah,
Something that looks like an ace is what I need.
In great shape
How much
here.
do you have?
Winter with no
2?
spade.
Nice hand.
He's really trying to do you dirty.
2 it. Can you count it? Make sure.
I'm just going to throw my stack into bills if you win anyway. Donate the chips.
My God.
Turn king and river 6.
You won?
No. Didn't.
How is that possible?
What the hell did you fold?
I have
I just had a suited hand, man.
400.
okay.
I was feeling lucky. That's all. Didn't happen.
Oh, I would have won the 3rd place bet?
Did you have 4s? Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's on 400.
Might feel like we brought
I'm not folding.
You would have got
inadequate drama to that river, but
calling. Try to get extra.
pocket 4s.
charged me out.
Made 2 outer. If he got there, we'd have been as surprised as the rest of you.
Yep.
But Soverel certainly pleased that Winter did not connect with that 4 as his queens hold. And with that double, finds himself sitting on $500,000 in chips. He already has 105,000 locked up. The pay jump 63,000 up to 5th. And up the ladder we go as you look at those payouts. 10 big, still the kind of neighborhood where we might expect Soverel to do a little more of the pre-flop all-in stuff, but you and I touched on it during earlier broadcasts during this USPO. The 10 big blind stack is actually a little bit more navigable than anyone gave it credit for once upon a time.
Also successful blinds.
Yeah, certainly.
Walk,
you know,
queens.
Late
Not
position
really
could have
top
some raise
notch.
folds, balance with some
I could feel
raises
John's a
with
little
the
if they're really
premiums.
pulling for me. It gave me the extra boost.
I actually folded 2 reasonable hands the previous 2 hands, and I'm very annoyed about it. I would have won
You
the
would've
last one.
won, yeah.
I had king 9 suited under the gun.
Oh, the last one? I had ace 10.
What?
And he raised ace 10 offsuit.
Oh my God, everyone would have busted Sam.
Jeez.
What'd you have? Flush?
Queen 3. I had 9-6 of clubs.
Nobody had a 4? That's crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to angle it. I didn't have a 4 in my
outs.
hand. I had 9-6 of clubs. I just...
Raise and take it.
Oh no, this
For
is
Koon.
brutal. Sam's gonna win the tournament. It's my fault.
Sam needs to win. Hawks lost last night. He needs it.
He needs it. Case money.
Ace 10 hits the muck there for Chidwick.
I had that stack last night on the bubble.
You did. I did too.
I'm about to have that stack.
You had less.
Yeah.
You had like 425.
You're welcome.
That's my man right there.
Queen Jack offsuit in the cutoff for
You even got a
Soverel.
couple shoves through before that hand.
All in.
I had 2 really big hands in one hand I wanted to get through.
Standard all-in spot
exactly
from late
500.
position off of 10 bigs.
Liv,
You got it.
you're back, man.
Yeah, I'm crushing.
12.5 bigs? 12.75 bigs?
You need Carrie to come play this for me.
Soverel still keeping things interesting. I wonder if D. Peters is at home watching the stream.
Little sweat. It's worth 50K if one of these other 5 can axe Soverel from the festivities
No,
here.
that's like 600.
Perhaps
in
Peters has a
purple in the
bounty
back.
out on Soverel's head
7,
today.
650 or 6.
Yeah, that's
call
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, I hope it's not more than 50K.
It is purple.
I think that's more than 9
What do you
there
think?
in the front.
You can answer these.
5,
I think
6,
it's
7,
Play
8.
your hand, play your hand.
Don't let it burn your time.
Okay, play your hand,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's burning my time, counting my money.
Restart.
Right.
Maybe shared custody
Obviously
of
not
the
6.
Golden Eagle.
It's clearly at least 8.
Do you think
We're talking about the
transporting that
one
thing is
purple stack.
easy?
Ah, you
That's
think
5.
it's bigger than 20. I see.
It's like-
I see. Okay.
I just
You're
one-
sharp.
I think it's
All right.
1 over.
I think it's 2 or 3 over.
You were right.
He knows what he's doing.
I was trying to get a
Live
bit.
pro, super live pro. You can count those 20.
Buy that eagle a car seat. Weighs more than a 6-year-old. Klein's ace king gets no customers as he opened to a $1.25.
I think they're
Oh,
up.
they went up.
You usually ask me who my pick is. You haven't asked today. I've got an answer for you.
What were you going to say, Soverel?
No.
Global Poker Final Table stacks give us an opportunity to see the updated breakdown, and how about a delayed pick out of you, Maria?
My person to win this 50K has got to be Bill Klein.
Really?
Now, hear me out. Love the guy. Super nice. Seems like he's enjoying life to the fullest. And you know he donates all of his winnings in tournaments to charity.
Medium rare, please.
So
Thank you.
the philanthropic side.
Should go rare because when they put it in the
is rooting
container,
for
it
Bill.
cooks.
Reminiscent of Barry Greenstein, once upon a time, the Robin Hood of poker, who would donate not just the proceeds, but the buy-in as well. Wouldn't even save that. Bill Klein, same deal?
Same deal. If he didn't cash in this, it would have cost him 100K.
All right, we are at 3060.
Correct.
I'm gonna raise to 135,000.
Well, it's going to cost him 100K either way if he gives everything up, right?
Fold.
Koon's turn with ace-king. 135 his number. And he'll pick up an orbit's worth of blinds and antes. I have a tournament for Bill, Maria. It's a charity event, and it's benefiting the Rest of the Field Foundation, whereby nobody else buys in.
You get 900, John?
And
don't worry about that.
Whatever Bill Klein wins, we split up.
925.
We're very transparent about the operation.
I think you're going to have a tough time selling him on that.
I don't disagree.
What do you got? 5, 6?
575, I think.
Behind? Or
I mean, I should have had 625. Or no, sorry. Said the wrong amount. That was the lost blinds. I had 625 to start the hand.
okay.
So I got, what, 515? No. Should be 515. Oh, 5.
That was the closest decision I had all day.
Me too.
Right here.
8-4 of hearts would have been in bad shape against this ace-5 of hearts, which certainly will be opening from the button and opening for the full amount.
Spots, I'm happy for you.
King-queen offsuit for Klein.
Earlier with the ace-5 against you.
Yeah, but this is kind of going back to what Soverel was talking about is if you open shove here, it makes it so much harder for somebody to call it off, whereas if you raise, someone's going to have to 3-bet all in first, and then actions back to the original raiser. Here, Bill Klein wisely makes the decision to fold the king-queen.
Queen.
It's the weirdest room ever. I go from being freezing to being super hot.
Yeah, you
back and
took up your
forth.
sweater like 4
Dude,
times.
it's like I can't find a temperature I'm comfortable at.
You think it has anything to do with all-ins?
Could.
You need something like this, where it's good for
I was
all
thinking
around.
that yesterday. That kid was like, "Are these seats hot, or is like my ass just getting hot?" I was like, "You're stressed out, man." Did I just put in? Yeah. All right, that's right.
Two kings for Sean Winter, and this is not going to be a close decision.
And with
Shoots
everybody,
at the 135.
with everyone expecting Winter
Johnny,
to
like
be
1.9,
opening
right?
at a pretty high frequency,
Yeah,
it's
over
really
2.
nice to actually have a good hand, but so far nobody else has
Just over.
anything that they're going to get involved with.
Koon defends his big blind in rough shape with queen-9 offsuit, heading to the flop. Blinds at 30 and 60 with the 60K ante. Pesky ace on the board for Winter's kings. Does have the king of clubs working and some backdoor Broadway prospects. Still way the best hand against queen-9. And little downside c-bet sends Koon's hand into the muck.